The 3-5 men and the 3-5 tight defensive playbook is a really, really good defense in college football 26. And I just want to break down how to run it post patch. This is really good against kind of the standard pass protections of either empty or base. It's really good against both of them. A lot of people are setting their pass protection to base in college football, so I'm going to be covering it really primarily against that. As far as coach adjustments, packages, all that stuff, for coach adjustments, you do want to turn auto flip off, defensive motion response disabled, option read key conservative, option pitch key aggressive, RPO read key conservative, RPO pass key conservative, and then at the bottom here, you want to go ahead and put those safeties on close and pinch. You do not want to flip this formation. You want to basically keep it as a symmetrical formation, and you're going to be able to get pressure off of both sides. Now, the best way to run this defense, in my opinion, is to utilize, you can kind of use a couple different ones, but ultimately I feel like it kind of makes most sense here to be either in the linebacker swap package or the slot cornerback package. And I'll just show you real quick. When I come out here, I'm going to be in the play, if I can find it, Hot Blitz 3. There it is. And then as you can see here, if I were to adjust my linebackers, you see here that defensive end on the right side is still defensive end. So I'm going to go ahead and, whoops, I accidentally did that. Let me put it on the slot cornerback package. The reason you want to use slot cornerback is it's going to fix the adjustments for the corners, but it's not going to necessarily fix the adjustment for the linemen, which we'll talk about that in a minute. But again, we're going to go to here, slot cornerback package. And then all that's really necessary for the defense, I think, is Hot Blitz 3. The reason why I pretty much base out of Hot Blitz 3 is because it's going to keep those linebackers in an appropriate position to be able to blitz them. The other defense that you could situationally go to is like a cover 3 cloud, or really anything primarily like Tampa 2, cover 3 cloud, kind of a base play like that. You could mix that in here, and I'll explain that as we go through. What I would basically do is come out in the play you want to be in, though. So for Hot Blitz 3, as you can see, and we can do everything out of this play, by the way. All we're going to do is we're just going to show blitz our linebackers. So it looks just like this. We're just show blitzing the linebackers. And then effectively what we're going to do here is we're going to then zone out this right of screen defensive end into a zone. And you see that this has now fixed our adjustments, and we can play pretty standard defense like this. I like the QB contain as well, but basically what you're going to see is at the snap of the ball, we are going to get pressure off that left side, sending 5 consistently. It's consistent pressure, and we can send it. Now, what I like to do is send it consistently off of the side that is basically that doesn't have a tight end. If you send it off the tight end side, to me, it's just not as effective. It's okay, but I would just prefer you to send it this way. And what also happens a lot is sometimes you'll just get random A-gap pressure here off the left side. So kind of depends a little bit on how they want to pick it up. But basically, that's how I would use it. Now, what would you do, right? What would you do if they flip their bunch? So let's say the ball's over here, and let's say you're facing a flip bunch. So it looks something like this. Again, with you setting up your show blitz look, you're still relatively in the same look here. But now what we really want to do is we want to blitz off of the right side. So what I would do here is I would slant my D-line to the left. I'd zone this linebacker on the left side. And then I would basically create a coverage that looks like this. And you see that this is going to allow me to blitz my user into the gap. This is why you can do it all out of Hot Blitz 3. Because what I'm basically going to do here is I am going to allow the game to basically let my user run down at the center. And then I'm going to switch onto the linebacker on the left side by hitting left on the D-pad. So I'm going to let him run down for a second, switch stick out of it, and you see that we're able to get the pressure at the quarterback just like that. The reason that this is very, very helpful is because if they untarget your user defender, you're going to now be able to get pressure with this A-gap blitzer. So if they start doing different types of pass protection, this is why I kind of like this, because they have to essentially, they're not going to really be able to untarget your user. So you see, let him run down, and you see here that he's able now to be essentially an A-gap rusher over the middle of the defense. So it's a simple defense in which we're sending 5 off both edges, or we're sending 5 pretty much the majority of the time here. And then we can also mix this up a little bit, and what I like to do is if they ever start to block their running back, if you take a look here, you're going to notice that the running back targets the middle linebacker, okay? And so what you can do from this is you can occasionally go through and just set up a basic, essentially a basic coverage shell. So for example, it would look something like this on the coverage shell. And then we could put, a contain or whatever. If we don't want to, we can contain or not contain, either way. But basically what this does, if they block a running back, then this guy gets isolated and you're going to get a lot of pressure that way as well. Another little setup that we can do here is we can slant our defensive line here to the left. And when we do that, you're going to see, let me flip this. Basically, when we slant, it's for some reason not registering here. Shout out to practice mode. But basically, this guy can become almost like a loop blitzer that you have access to within this as well. Throw that guy in a zone. And so that's another little mix in that you can have within the defense. But overall, the main core of the defensive strategy is to send 5. And then situationally, if we ever wanted to send, like, let's say we wanted to send just a handful of players, what I would occasionally do as well here is I would set up a D. Once they really can't consistently untarget me, I would do something like this. And this is a send 4. What's nice about the send 4 is you can occasionally get this guy off the edge to basically loop in and get pressure. It just depends a little bit, but as you see there, we get the pressure, and that is what we're looking for. So generally speaking, I'm normally going to be sending 5, but once they start to like consistently block their running back, or once they start to untarget my user, I might do some different things. And then also every now and then I like to mix in just a basic send 4, because this guy, I mean, this pressure can still shed. You can still get good disengage, all of that from just a send 4 look. And it kind of completes the defense, giving us ability to send 3, send 4, send 5 situationally. One other thing I forgot to mention is the way that the coding is in the blocking this year. You can go ahead and send 4. So I could drop this guy, this like backside guy, into like a spy or whatever. And normally this will still get pressure. As you can see, we're kind of pushing the pocket a little bit, getting decent pressure. And then I'll show you the first variation of that as well. So if I wanted to send 4 off of this side here, you see I'm just sending 4. A lot of times this can still, as you see right there, we're able to get the pressure to come in. So that is kind of what I'm doing right now out of the 3-3-5 mint defense. I do like this defense a lot because we're basically turning it into essentially a 3-4 odd or symmetrical front, which just gives us a little bit more flexibility in terms of what we're able to do to the things that they want to do. We're also able to randomly get a gap depending on the protection that they employ, and I love that about this defense. So in general, this is how to run the 3-3-5 mint post patch in college football 26.